go back just for a minute, in the period when you're teaching in the Associated actively, and the Bureau is being created, what, 49, 50, that period. Would you say that within the staff, or the Balabatim of Associated, there was an enthusiasm for the Bureau, or was there a suspicion of it?
Well, I think that at first it was a case of let's wait and see before we judge. Let's wait and see what the performance of this new creation is going to be. And what happened was that when the Bureau finally began to function and the meetings began to take place and the representatives of the schools met where they used to meet previously in an organization called Division 2. You may have heard of it, which was part of the Welfare Fund.
Right.
The representatives of the schools were there, and all representatives, their primary loyalty was to their school. And at these meetings, the battles were fought for the support
The individual
of the individual schools.
A pattern which is repeating itself, incidentally,
Yeah.
now. That's interesting. So that it was really the Bureau was really a creation of the Welfare Fund rather than of the individual schools.
Oh yes, it was a creation of the Welfare Fund, and the Canadian Jewish Congress was involved in the initial research process.
And the representatives of the schools, the presumably elected representatives of the schools to the Welfare Fund, became automatically the representatives on the Bureau?
No. And there were special people that were appointed by the schools to represent them at the Board of Jewish Education. Today, the situation has changed in the sense that the Board of Jewish Education does not consist of people whom the schools select, but rather whom the Toronto Jewish Congress itself appoints, although they try to do so with an eye to having the full spectrum of Jewish ideological representation there.
Now, did that change coincide with the change of name from Bureau to Board? Was there any substantive difference after the name was changed?
No, this change came about simply when Dr. Diamond had left, because apparently there had arisen considerable antagonism between him and Associated in particular, and it came to a climax where the Associated threatened, I think, pretty well to not to cooperate with the board, and since they represented the largest segment of student body within the board from a subsidized point of view, they won out in this.
What was the issue in the dispute?
I think the issue was one of personalities to some extent.